This video is going to be an extensive review of my experience with the Zhiyun Crane. I've had it for about a month and a half, and I've tried it out several times in my apartment, in the park, while driving, put it through all kinds of tests. So this is an extensive review of the Zhiyun Crane V2. Ready and go. Boo! Alrighty, man, where do I even begin? As of 2018, I got this crane for $400 off Amazon. It's also available at B&H Photo for the same price. So that's a pretty affordable price for like a professional grade stabilizer like the crane. And really, the stability of this thing is just incredible. Like, look at this. This camera and the lens, the A7S and the 24 to 70 millimeter lens, this is a kind of freaking heavy setup. So the fact that I can go like this and just get ridiculously smooth footage. In fact, let's just take a video right now. So the fact that I can just be here right now, moving my camera to the left and right, side to side, even moving up and down, creating motions like this. I mean, the footage is just, it feels very cinematic, very professional. It's a lot of fun to use. In selfie mode, you click the mode button 3 times. You click the button 3 times and the camera turns to face you. What's up, bro? This is also really good for vloggers. And again, the motion is just incredible. As you're walking, even if there's variance in your cadence, you're moving up and down, it'll follow you, and it is just like liquid smooth. It's really fun to use. Overall, I think my favorite mode is follow mode because it gives you the most control and it gives you the ability to create the most complex shots as you're moving or even if you're standing still. You can get pan shots, you can get zooming in and zooming out shots, and the last mode, which is also really fun, is the inverted mode. You simply just have to turn it upside down and then turn on the gimbal and it'll start to stabilize. This is really cool for getting up close shots to the ground as you're walking or even follow people's footsteps, whatever it is. For the price that you're paying, about $400 US, this is actually a pretty freaking sweet deal. It completely steps up your shooting game and it allows you to get creative and complex shots that you otherwise would not be able to achieve. Another thing that I like about the crane is that it comes with a carrying case, which is nice because the protective foam insulates it from any bumps or any potential damage. It's easy to store, so if you're going on a flight or something like that, you can just disassemble it and throw it in there and be on your way. So I like the size, I like the price, and I like the capabilities that it enables you to have. Those are my 3 favorite things about it. I also like the different modes that it lets you use, and you can also hook it up with your phone app. Personally, I haven't had a ton of luck with that. I haven't really bothered too much with the phone app. I've just used it manually. But nonetheless, that is an option if you so choose to take it. Okay, now I want to cover just a few of the issues that I have with the crane that are not really my favorite. Number 1, although it does give you a lot of different options and creativity with your shooting, after a while this thing gets freaking heavy. Like your arm is like throbbing and aching. With my setup with the Sony A7S and the 24 to 70 millimeter lens, after about 3 minutes, your arm starts to ache. It feels like you just went to the gym. I don't really know if there's a way to avoid that because of all the motors and stuff in here, but nonetheless, that is a bit of an issue. Number 2, and this is probably the biggest issue that I've seen around the net, balancing this thing can really be cumbersome. Even after I have had it balanced several times, have used it several times, I still have to funk with it every time I set it up because you see this plate, you see this front plate, the lens stabilizer right here, and also the base plate. These don't have ticks on it, so all of the other little knobs have little numerative indicators of where you're supposed to be at depending on what camera you have. For example, when I set my A7S on here, I always know, okay, the side plate is going to be at 0.5, the back plate is going to be at 0.3, and the bottom plate is going to be at 0.3 also. But the problem is, even when you set it on there, this middle slot right here doesn't have ticks. So depending on where you put the screw in to fasten your camera, that can totally vary. So I end up spending usually 5 or 10 minutes just trying to get it like balanced left and right. And then once you do that, this moving part, the moving parts for the lenses, you also have to secure that. Once you actually fasten your camera on there securely, it actually moves the lens up like this, which shifts the weight even more. So you kind of play this game of cat and mouse. You have to be patient. That being said, I know it's necessary to use a stabilizer. I've used stabilizers before. I get the concept. You have to balance the center of gravity. Nonetheless, I wish they would have put some kind of markations here or on the base plate so you could like remember exactly where you're putting it. Next issue I have is that it doesn't come with a tripod if you don't buy like the special deluxe edition, and for all intents and purposes you have to have a tripod. I tried for about 2 weeks without the tripod and it just about drove me crazy, because you end up standing here like this as you're trying to stabilize it and put it on a flat surface, and it's next to impossible if you don't have a tripod. I will put a link to my last video called The Best Tripod in the World for the Zhiyun Crane. It's 30 bucks off Amazon, and it's made of reinforced steel. It's really nice, it's durable, and you just fasten that on there and it acts as a tabletop stand for it, which completely is a game changer. And finally, even though it comes with a case, the case is actually too small for my specific settings. So even after I have everything set up and I use it with my camera, when I'm done and I'm gonna be traveling, in order for me to break this down to put it in my case, I have to loosen these bolts and then slide the arm in, and therefore completely start over the adjustment process the next time I'm gonna use it. And I've seen reviews on Amazon where people have said this is a game changer. They've said, no way, it's literally not worth the time because you have to set it up and then break it down every single time. I really wish the case was a little bit longer so that way I could just set it in there and I didn't have to readjust the arms when putting it in and then taking it out again. So overall, positives about the Crane: it allows you to do sweet creative shots. It allows you to achieve like a almost professional level of cinematography with the smoothness, the fluidity, the pan shots, the tilt shots. I love, love, love that. For the amount of stuff that it does, the weight is actually reasonable, but it is a little bit heavy nonetheless. For $400, this is really a good deal in my opinion. If I had to go back and either return it or buy it again, I would buy it again. It is worth it, it steps up your game. I love how many modes are on the camera. That's also really fun to use. I was using the inverted mode today and that's super cool. It makes your content original, gives it a cool twist to your own unique perspective. So I like all of those things. Cons: it is a bit heavy, it doesn't come with a tripod, and it doesn't break down efficiently into the case so that you don't have to mess with it every time you break it out.